I swore these days running on 3 hours of sleep will fuck around and be the death of me. But let's dig into this video content. Around the time I fell in love with Dragon Ball Fighters, I'm scouring the interwebs, probably trying to figure out something that's blatantly obvious to most people. And I run across another fighting game. Two games, in fact. You see, these games are spiritually connected. So whenever you see one, the other usually isn't too far behind. I'm talking about BlazBlue and Guilty Gears. BlazBlue and Guilty Gears have a lot in common. In addition to the alphabet dub thing they got going on. They're developed by Arc System Works, the studio who also produced Dragon Ball Fighters. What's more, both are anime-esque series. Look like they were ripped right from your favorite ultra cheesy Japanese cartoon. The gameplay is also very similar across both games, especially to someone who was new to both franchises. I actually went to search for Guilty Gear on the PC Marketplace and ended up getting results for BlazBlue as well. That's how tight these two roll. Long story short, I ended up picking up the cheapest game of the bunch to test out, and that was BlazBlue Calamity Trigger. While sort of mirroring its studio counterpart, BlazBlue shares some commonalities with fighting games in general. You can see Street Fighter's influence throughout this game. And if you're like me, the type who wants to dig into the game and start kicking ass without spending too much time in the skills/moves menu, you'll be happy to know that many of the basic button combos will work here as well. I do get that. On the other hand, Calamity Trigger brings a very unique fighting experience to the table. The gameplay itself is bananas, man. The characters have some weird, funky ass moves that make Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat seem tame by comparison. How you wondering like, what the fuck did that bitch just hit me with? I guess they really play up the fantastical anime element here. BlazBlue was also known for the complexity of its gameplay mechanics. Simply put, it's kind of like Tekken in that it's difficult to master. Calamity Trigger more or less offers the basic slate of game mode options. You've got your standard versus mode. You've got an arcade mode, story mode, and some weird ass mission mode that I still haven't quite figured out. I actually haven't got too deep into either of these modes just yet, but of course they're nice to have. There may also be some online play available, but I'm not quite sure how reliable that would be considering the age of this game. It's a couple years deep and shit, probably approaching the decade mark, so whatever. Back to the story mode. Coming in, I had some awareness that BlazBlue was marketed as a fighting game / visual novel, and after giving the story mode a spin, this definitely checks out. You've got the classic dialogue and narrative boxes, and even a few scenes where you're able to make choices, which is a hallmark of visual novels. The story itself isn't anything mind-blowing, but as a fan of visual novels with two of my own, The Rave and Sorry That You're Dead, both available on itch.io, your support is very much appreciated, thank you. I thought this was a cool element to incorporate into the game. I have to admit that I wrote this one off after a few spins, man. This shit was just too weird for me, too different. However, after being tempted by a crazy New Year's sale by Steam, they had on Steam recently this past New Year's, where all the BlazBlue and Guilty Gear titles were like 75 to 85% off, I accordingly went apeshit and snatched up a few of these games. And it was in experiencing some of the newer versions from both franchises that I was finally able to appreciate Calamity Trigger. So, what I'm going to do is go back, master that one, and then work my way up to the other ones, which are definitely cool as fuck. So, while I'm not quite ready, well, I'm not even remotely ready to put this one on the same level as Street Fighter or the one true king of fighting games, Mortal Kombat, I will say that BlazBlue has carved out a nice little niche in the 2D fighter space. Definitely worth checking out for fans of the genre. Peace.